Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Maine Bushcrafter. I'm your host, D.L.Soucy, coming to you from the coast of Maine. Well, almost. I live on the coast, but I'm a little bit inland today. We're on a body of water, and as you've seen from the silent video coming up to this point, I've actually been searching for a point where I could create a stealth campsite. And a couple of the things that you want to look for when you're doing a stealth campsite is to make sure that you have number one, first and foremost, cover. Number two, you want to make sure that you have easy egress so that you can leave in a hurry if you have to from several different directions. Number three, if you're not in an urban setting, you want to make sure that you have, if possible, water source somewhere nearby. You might have to boil the water or otherwise purify it, but you want to make sure that you get some hydration fairly close by. And in doing that, what you want to make sure you do is that you cook as far away from your campsite as practicable, and that you leave no indication that you're there. Part of the idea behind stealth is stealthiness, and you're not going to be very stealthy if you leave a whole bunch of trash laying around. So you want to make sure that you're kept pretty much, as far as anyone else is concerned, non-existent, if possible. Can be done. I've done it before. Thousands and thousands of other people have done it over the years. It actually used to be a pretty good skill that was learned by the hobos and the homeless people during the Great Depression, and after that, where men who couldn't work or didn't want to work were able to get around the country by stealth camping and living off the land, which is something I might actually be doing pretty soon. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks here. But for now, I'm going to take a look around. I'm going to show you a 360, and I'll point out some of the features as to why I picked this place. One, you have down in there a lake with water in it. It's not running very fast, of course, so it has to be boiled or otherwise purified, but it is water if you need it. But coming around, get a couple of logs there. At least one or more of them can be used for building your structure with your tent bike with your tarp. Number three, concealment. As you can see, there's a big tree there, and there's a boulder. Can't see it there. See, nice big boulder. What these do is they actually obscure your vision from anybody from the other section, and there's actually a hiking trail over that way. And from this direction, you have several conifers. Also, this time of year you have a lot of other greenery growing up, so you're pretty well covered from that direction. You have a quick and easy egress that way, which heads out towards the highway, and you also have a quick and easy egress down towards the riverbank, where you can follow the riverbank up to the highway. So there's a couple of different ways of getting out of here if you have to. You shouldn't have to, but you never know. What are we going to do to make our camp? Well, I've got my bushcraft bag with me. A lot of goodies in here. I'll show you some of the stuff as we go along, what I carry with me when I'm out in the woods for overnight. Number one, I have my emergency survival. It's got everything you need in there to survive. Okay. So this is a pretty interesting pack. It's actually a military surplus. It's from Europe. Yeah, take it off. I've made some adaptations to it. Number one, It's actually a cinch rucksack. It doesn't come with a shoulder strap, but what I did is I put a clip on here with a other strap, and that just actually clips onto one of the sides, and what goes here is actually some sort of a pouch which you can carry ammunition or grenades or whatever in, but it makes a very handy haversack. There's storage in the lid for some small stuff that I use for some things will go on there. It's got some pockets where you can put a lot of stuff in there, which we'll go after in just a moment here. Okay, this is where my camp is going to be. With my poncho, I usually keep a couple of those bands, but I never know when those bands might come in. I also carry with me four of these Coghlan's aluminum or titanium, whatever they are. I think they're aluminum stakes. They come with a nice little pull cord on there, but they're pretty handy. This, of course, is my military style color. Quick. I'll just simply start over again. See, this is too big to fit around through the grommets, so what I do is I just simply loop that around there like that. Loop it just like that, so that it has a pretty good triangle hold on. Find a put that in. Here, nylon paracord. thing you want to remember that when you're setting up a setup like this is that your little one is where you want the central anchoring point to be. This around the tree. Tight as you can get it. Okay, what we're going to do, make a good toggle head. And again, you want to make sure that your shelter is as low to the ground as you want to get it. And go around like that. Pull up again like that. Take another toggle. Stick it in like that. And oops, not quite now. There. Keep on keeping it tight. And like that. Pull everything all tight. And that's how we attach that final one. Now, what we'll do is we'll put music. And this is where the top is. What we'll do is kind of roll it. So. Right there. And your toggle is down there. Just like that. That's your overnight shelter. Again, it's a little bit brown, so there's very little visibility. Is to tie off your first line. That gets tied up to there. If you don't have it in a straight line, which you can, that's okay because you can make other arrangements. Again, use 3 toggles, or however many grommets you have. They go through just like that. Oh, good, you can see that. No knots. This piece here, if you have multiple pieces of cord, it makes it easier, but you can do it without one and just not see, that's all there is to it. Now, the reason I use the toggles, I'll set up and show you that in a minute. The reason I use the toggles is because you can, by pulling tension on here, you can actually rotate it. If you want to go that way, you rotate it in the opposite direction where you want to go. So that pulls it that way. You can rotate it that way, and it comes loose. Yeah, again, if you want to go this way, you rotate it in the opposite direction where you want to go. That tightens it up. Good place out of the rain. Good place that's nice and small. Easy to conceal. It's not an ideal camp, but we're talking about stealth camping. And nothing about stealth camping is ideal. Okay, we're going to tear this down real quick. Quickest way to do it. And this is why I like using this toggle. You simply pull that back, pull the toggle out. Toggles are quick and easy, no notch, just pull them out, down. Pull it out. Nice easy quick knots. I don't make anything usually very difficult. A little more difficult than I have to do. That's part of the fun of stealth camping, is try and get things done as easy as possible without leaving any trace or evidence that you've been there. If you leave evidence, then you're obviously not very stealthy. So, and again, I like to keep my cord as long as possible. You never know when you might need a long piece. So if you don't cut it, you're generally going to be much better off. These little stakes clean up really good. So, all in all, it doesn't take very long to take down at all. So if you're in a hurry, the best to do it that way. You can do it any way you want, of course. We're each to his own in the bushcraft world. Not everything has to follow a certain formula. But that's what I like to do because it's quick and it's easy. So, that's a quick and easy campsite. Doesn't take much work. Again, you want to make sure you remember certain things. Number one is concealment. It's very important that you find as much cover as possible. Even if it means you got to get into some place that is less than ideal comfort-wise. Comfort is probably not high on your list anyways. I didn't bring my bedroll this time. Basically what I have for a bedroll, and I'll show it to you in another video. I have a 60s era jungle hammock, which I've set up so that I can use it either as a tent or as a hammock. Either way, it'll work, and it'll work good. Which is why I didn't bring it today, is because it's going to take a little longer, and I didn't want to make this video too long, because, you know, YouTube being the way it is, I probably lost most of you already by now. So those of you that have hung on, thanks for hanging on, and remember I told you that never eat or cook where your campsite is. And next I'm going to show you, we're going to go someplace else, and I'll show you how to make a meal when you're self-camping and not leave any trace of where you've been. Trail. You can see it's a pretty good place. It's a high spot, but it's low on the other side, so you don't have to go too far down the hill, and you get the concealment that you need. Pretty much all along here. go over some of the stuff that I carry in my bushcraft back here. Of course, you've already seen the tarps. You already know that I carry my emergency pack with me no matter where I go. Also, I got me one of these Stanley pot combinations. It actually comes, you get a lid. Both these old water bottles are really good. I'm thinking about trying to get an Nalgene one that'll fit, but that'll work for now. But it comes with a lid. I actually get 2 of these cups. So I only bring one with me at a time because then I'm fixing my lunch. I actually bring one of these too. It's lightweight and it will seal everything up inside that when you're done. Don't get everything messy inside your pack. We'll see what happens over the next week. So, the cooking is lid for the pot. The cooking, I carry one of these. There's some extra fuel tabs in it. These work pretty good. I mean, they're not ideal, they're cheap, but they do the job. Before I get that going there, I want to show you a little trick here. And for those of you who know me, I'm a big cigar fan, so I got cigar tubes at the end. Good way to carry those fuel tablets, and I get the Coghlan's brand. I don't know how the others would work, but there are different size tubes. You put them right inside, nice and dry. You can fit in there. I can fit 10 or 11 of these with no problem. Usually I carry 10 because I usually have half a dozen in the stove itself, so that's not usually a problem. good for this sort of thing. I wish I could do it 365 days a year and not even have a house, but you know, that's the way life works, I guess. So anyhow, back to stealth camping. Here's basic guidelines are: number one, you want to be stealthy, of course, because that's why it's called stealth camping. Basically, that entails making sure that you leave no trace. Whatever you're doing, you don't leave anything behind. People will know that you're there. Number two, you have to make sure that you are concealed, which means you have to have as low as camouflage to shelter as possible. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do, but you have to do the best you can. A good way to do that is to make sure you go around, check what's going on around you, and look at the site from all the way around it to 360 degrees. Recce is the site that you're considering for your camp. Make sure that it's very low shelter. You have to be higher than some pressure, natural elements, and conceal it. Three, you want to make sure that you have at least 2 means of relatively easy egress from the area in case you have to get going real quick. And keeping with that, number 4, you want to make sure you set your shelter up in such a manner that you can take it down just a couple of minutes. It may not look pretty. You may have to just stuff it in your bag instead of taking the time to close it up real tight. But you want to be able to get going real quick. Next step is you want to make sure that you have possible some means of water nearby. It's relatively close. Camp someplace that has some runoff, some chemical plant. Make sure that you have as good of water supply as possible, and that you have a means of purifying it, which includes a lot of different means, which we'll get into some other time. And lastly, you want to make sure that when you're cooking, you don't do it where your campsite is. You always cook away from your camp. I try to usually do it at least 1 hour away if I can, which means that if you're good, nothing happens. So what I do sometimes in the colder weather is I will actually, when I'm cooking earlier in the day, giving my early evening supper, I'll actually bring a water, fill up with cold water that I can use throughout the night in case I want to get up or sit around the corner have a cup of hot chocolate or coffee or whatever. Usually it's hot chocolate. But again, make sure that everything that you do is done in such a way that you don't leave any sign that you've been there, other than potential footprints, which can be pretty dangerous as far as camping with boat. So make sure that you carry everything that you need. Again, make sure that it's minimal, so that you have a light carry, and that you can pack up and get gone relatively easily. Leave your campsite nice and clean and available for you again. If you leave track for anything, eventually it's going to happen to you or for anybody else that makes it down the road and camp there. More importantly, don't mean you won't be looking back for it. That's just a few tidbits here. Get some oil in there, so I'm going to turn off the flames are coming up around the handle, so one of the things I like about this plot is that it has these holes for straining in there. You can actually cook pasta or something like that on the inside. With the marshmallows in it. Really good. Especially on a day when it's kind of cool. This is hot. Usually I bring my fishing equipment, but I didn't today because you're forecasting rain. Looks like that they'll be coming in pretty quickly, so didn't want to spend several hours in the rain and end up having to trudge back home in the wet. Talk a few minutes about still camping at night and coming. It's so difficult to do it while there's so many governments and private landowners that are against it. So a lot of reasons for things that happen the way they do. Most of them are not really good reasons. Usually it's because it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Over the years, especially since the 70s, late 60s, early 70s time frame, you have found that various entities that are commonly referred to as non-governmental organizations that are connected to the United Nations behind much of what we see going on today. For instance, the Nature Conservancy and the Audubon Society, and one of those really big non-profit money grubbing groups that try to get laws changed, oftentimes to the detriment in favor of having their own personal needs. One of those needs is something that's called Agenda 21, and Agenda 21 has received a lot of bad press because of basically what it is, especially given the fact that it's runs right up the alley of the conspiracy fruitcakes. Is it a conspiracy? Not really. They're not actually plotting behind our backs. They're plotting right out in front of us in plain sight. And part of this Agenda 21 is something called the Biodiversity Project. What that is that it seeks to engineer society in such a manner that society is forced to live within established communities that are just going to go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and develop more and more problems. Part of this is where we see some of the gun control issues coming up with the disarmament processes to create what are called gun-free zones. we'll get into that in another video. That's something actually in connection with the Second Amendment project I'm working on. But, basically what this does is, again, it seeks to pull people closer into the cities to make larger and larger communities, leaving the wildlands free of human interference. Their ideal goal, and I'm going to layer a map on here from different organizations that will show you what I mean, why it's such a problem. But these zones are three-tiered. One of them is for human habitation without restriction. One is for limited habitation. And then there's a core. That means there's supposed to be no human involvement whatsoever. Things are supposed to go right back to a natural state. And you see this happening a lot in much of the federal lands, the national parks movement. And that's why I'm against it. But again, I'm going to go into it in more detail in another video. That has to do with the Second Amendment, as well as some of the other amendments in the Constitution. But for now, I'm going to leave it on, and I'm going to finish off my chocolate, and then I'm going to get my way home. If you can see what I can see, there's some ducks floating down the river. There was a little while ago, there was an eagle that flew over, but I couldn't get a good picture of it because there were too many trees. But I'll leave you with that. Thanks for visiting